Speak the Truth 2.0. We've had a busy day today, and I've been talking all day, and I guess the last couple of weeks, like when it was coming up to Trump's 100 days, term, and him like going over like and his cabinet the accomplishments. I've been saying, okay, what have the Democrats done for American citizens? If you've been watching and you've been loyal and you've been coming to the channel, this has been something that I've been challenging the Democrats that come on here and asking them, what have the Democrats done for the American citizens? So today they had a news conference, and as Democratic lawmakers speak on President Trump's first 100 days. So I want to know, let's I want to see their report card for the last 100 days. I'm not even talking about for the last 4 years. Just for the last 100 days, what have they done for American people? And we're going to react to this video, and we're going to listen to them because we're not going to be biased. We are authentic. So we're going to show their side, and we're going to show the Republican side, and then you can make your decision on who's serving the American people best, the Republicans or the Democrats.
And we're going to tell you our opinion.
Yeah, our opinion. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe. And this is something that we're doing now for people who come to our channel, that they can join a membership. And what we're going to do is people who become members of Speak the Truth 2.0, we're going to invite them to come on live with us. And then they can share their opinions and they can communicate. So that's one of the new things that we're going to be doing on this channel as they continue to grow. So thank you. God bless. Go ahead. Did you want to say something else?
No, it's good.
Okay. So we're going to get right to it.
And my House colleagues here today to talk about Trump's first 100 days. Donald Trump's first 100 days can be defined by one big F word: failure. Failure on the economy. Failure on lowering costs. Failure on tariffs. Failure on foreign policy. Failure on preserving democracy. Failure on helping middle-class families. Today's new economic news showed that Donald Trump is running the American economy the way he ran his family business, into the ground. Into the ground. On tariffs, what a failure. It's a policy that's in total chaos. One day says one thing, one day says another thing. Maybe this country has tariffs, maybe this country won't. Even his policy advisors are at a loss to explain what he's doing. And as a result, instead of all of us in the world going after China, China has allies all over the world going after us. Tariffs,
Not true.
A failure. On costs, Donald Trump said on day one he'd lower costs of American families. They are up and up and up. And the tariffs are making it worse. Costs will go up for about $4,000 for the average American family. People who have IRAs have lost close to $100,000. Small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large businesses are frozen because they don't know what Trump's going to do. And that constrains supplies and raises costs. Failure on foreign policy. Instead of standing up to bullies, Trump is succumbing to bullies. He's being bullied by the dictators of the world. And again, he's broken our alliances in Europe, and so all the world now looks askance at America. Failure on DOGE. DOGE was supposed to bring efficiency. What instead is it doing? Cutting Social Security, cutting medical research, cutting costs. Failure on helping American families. Cutting taxes on the rich and paying for it by slashing Medicaid, strangling Social Security, hurting our veterans. Total failure on helping American families. And who is complicit in all of this? Who the Republicans in the House and Senate are co-conspirators. They are complicit. They are aiding and abetting all of Donald Trump's failures. They're not standing up to him once. They're involved and they will shoulder the blame. Finally, on democracy. Donald Trump is trying to ruin our democracy.
This is
He has
crazy.
changed the Justice Department into an attack dog for his political enemies, the hallowed, fair Justice Department. He's washing it away.
Pass the Justice League.
He is a would-be dictator.
Look at
He
this.
wants to be a king.
Same.
And
Look
again,
at them.
Our Republican colleagues in the House and Senate are complicit. So, Donald Trump's first 100 days are an act. We Democrats here and around the country
Look at
will
this.
fight him at every
Fight
turn.
him. Fight for
Bring out
Americans.
King Jeffries.
Fight for him. Fight for him.
Thanks so
Right.
much, an honor and a privilege to stand here with you, Leader Schumer. Thank you for your leadership, and an honor and a privilege to stand here with House Democrats and Senate Democrats, shoulder to shoulder, in defense of the American
You want to
people.
respond to that?
Donald Trump's first 100 days in office have been a disaster. Donald Trump
You know
and
what?
congressional Republicans.
We're going to just pause. We have to react to Schumer. The things that he said and the falsehoods, his things about it is that they, like, if you're going to make statements, put something behind it. Put something behind your statements. How is he a threat to democracy? They had literally had weaponized the judiciary system in order to press charges against Trump. That's how he became a felon. And now they continue. Everything he tries to do, he has like 50 injunctions right now. He has maybe 200 lawsuits. That's all they're doing. But they're not fighting for the American people. All they do is say fire, fire, pants on fire, like they're fighting for us. They're not doing a damn thing for us. And that's a fact. The people are gaslighting us. And I'm so tired. I've been talking about this for the last few days about not the last few days, really for the last couple of months, what have the Democrats been doing for us? The only people that they care about is the rest of the world and illegal immigrants and the LGBTQ. But as far as the rest of us, American citizens, when are they supporting American citizens? They come with the same campaign rhetoric that it's like they have the same playbook. I mean, Biden wasn't even there mentally. And this man didn't even govern this country, and nobody said anything about it. I mean, everything that we're going through, Trump did not cause the open borders, 2 wars, high prices, interest rate, housing costs, inflation. He didn't do all this.
Hello, Essence.
But you people will not hold them accountable. They're standing there and they got their laundry list and they so brainwashed, the Democratic Party is so brainwashed that they say the same thing and they're the ones that caused this mess. Trump's coming in trying to fix what they have done, and it's only been 100 days. He has closed the border. He has billions, trillions that's going to be coming into this country. He's putting America first. That's why we voted for him. And here they are with their rhetoric offering us nothing. They're offering, we're going to fight everything he tries to do. If he tries to deport a criminal to El Salvador, we are going to fight. We're going to fight for you. You're not fighting for me. They have stolen our money. All of them are millionaires. You know the millionaires and billionaires they talk about? That's them. They are the millionaires and billionaires. The Democratic Party. Nobody in the Republican Party has ever raised $1.5 billion for a campaign. And they did it in 3 months. Who has the money? They have Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Beyonce. They got over all the Hollywood, all the stars. They are millionaires and billionaires. And now they trying to gaslight. I'm gonna get back to it, but just to have Schumer, and I've been on conference calls with Schumer. I have been on the phone on Zoom calls with Schumer. You know, but I don't feel the same.
Someone replied to you.
What?
Leaper said, "Give them some slack. Stop acting like Trump is angel." And he also said, "Skip the border. Do you actually read about what Trump is doing? Yeah, just skip the border."
You know what? Skip the border. Skip at a minimum. Trump says 20 million. A minimum 14 million homeless people have come into this country. It's not that many. It's not 14 million jobs for them to do that they supposedly come in for farming or hospitality or whatever the case may be.
But the border's not a big deal. Just
The
skip
border is a huge deal because of them seeking power. They have destroyed the United States of America. That's why they put them first. They're still on mission. Hello, people. Just in case people don't understand what's really going on, this is not about the people. This is about power. This is about votes. They're still on mission to legalize these illegal immigrants because they know the voting bloc out there right now. We see what they're doing. Most of us do. We see what they're doing. And they're gaslighting half of America, but they know they can't win elections like that. But if they can legalize, that's why they don't want them to leave. They don't want him to be successful deporting them. But even though Clinton deported 12.3 million people, there were no protests. There was no 50-51. There were no people out there with signs and protesting every week. None of this stuff was going on. But he deported 12.3 million people. President Bush, he deported 10.3 million people. No protest, no due process. They came in illegally. We shipped them out legally. We shipped them out. Obama had them in cages. He deported 5.3 million. No protest, nobody walking with signs. The Republicans need to learn how to be activists and protest back. Because that's what Democrats do. And if you keep telling people the same bullcrap, I was influenced. I was totally, I was sold on everything that they said. That he's Hitler, he's the threat to democracy until I saw what democracy looked like. And that's not the Democratic Party. We didn't even get to select our candidate in a primary to run for president. Once they did the coup on Biden, there was supposed to be a primary for the American people to choose who they want to run. No, they didn't do that. They chose her for you. Chose her for you. So all this stuff that's going on and all these constant lies that are being told to the American people, and people are not, they need to wake up. It's not about us. They are not about us. It's about votes. They didn't care if they came in here and destroyed this country as long as they could remain in power.
Well,
they flew them in. They allowed terrorists to come in, gangs to come in, fentanyl to come in. They allowed 350,000 children to be missing. They allowed all these people to be killed just trying to come over here. They allowed the cartel to come in. They allowed Venezuela to empty out their prisons to come in. And it's getting more unsafe every day. Look at what's going on in some of these sanctuary cities. It looked like a third world country. And that's where we were heading to. They didn't care if it was a World War III. They was hoping that Putin would retaliate more with Zelensky so that then Biden could have retained power. They wanted a war. So we need to wake up and see what's really going on. And this is coming from someone that been on the phone with Schumer, been to all the rallies, been to all the conferences. I got selfies. Look at some videos. I could just put a lot out of me interacting. I mean, how many people are taking selfies with the president? That's just showing you that I was totally sold on everything that they said. I mean, MSNBC, that was the gospel. CNN. And then I started looking, I didn't sign up for open borders. When I canvassed it, did speeches, had campaigns, rallies. I didn't know that this was their plan, but now I see what's going on. You know, you have to open up your eyes and see what's really going on. This is the house of cards.
as Trump Because Trump said himself. Trump said anything that he does still has something negative to say about it.
He did in his joint session
Yeah.
speech. If he cured cancer, they got something to say about it. No matter what, instead of them giving him a chance to implement, the world's been taking advantage of America. He's saying, look, we paying tariffs to 170 countries. He's saying, look, they're treating us unfairly. They're overcharging us, overpricing us. He's saying, we want y'all to be fair, because guess what? The Bank of America is closed. We don't have the money to keep giving to any other countries. And then meanwhile, we don't take care of our own American citizens. The Democrats are not talking about us. They're not doing, all they do is fear monger. Oh, he gonna take away Social Security. Oh, he's gonna, how many times he say he not doing that? Oh, he gonna take care of Medicaid. He gonna take care of Medicare. Oh, he's this. That's all they keep this going and going. And you're supposed to be, oh, he's gonna take my Medicaid away. He's not taking it away. He has said that, but he gonna get those people that's on this 135 years old off of it, because they still in this fraud that's going on. Anyway, we gotta get back. I just couldn't couldn't handle all that nonsense that they were talking. So let me get back to this so I can react.
Economy in real time, raising costs on hard-working American taxpayers and driving us toward a painful recession. This is not Joe Biden's economy, Donald. It is your economy. It is the Trump economy.
Yeah, that's why I did this channel, because I knew that.
And the American people know it.
Liar.
House Democrats and Senate Democrats, standing shoulder to shoulder, are committed to building an economy that actually is affordable and makes life better for everyday Americans. We want to build an economy that lowers housing costs, lowers child care costs, lowers health care costs, lowers grocery costs, and lowers
they increase grocery costs.
We recognize that far too many people in this country are struggling to live paycheck.
Now you notice, right?
That
4
should
years.
not be the case in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. It's time to build an affordable economy, and it's time to build it now.
You know what? That sounds so cute and sweet, Hakeem Jeffries. I wish that, wait till I get on the program. That sounds real cute. They talking about for better economy and grocery prices. They did this. They're the reason for high grocery prices. It's coming from them. And they talking about let us have better prices, better interest rates and all that, when they are the ones responsible for it. I mean, that ought to do something. I mean, where was everyone for the last 4 years that this has been going on? Prices didn't just go up just now. They've been up. But we're taking more of a little hit because Trump is fighting for us. And this is how you do business. It's how you do business. But at the end of the day, when all this stuff pans out and those jobs and our economy start growing and everything that he's saying starts happening, because it's only 100 days, I want to see, you remember today, because I want to say, what are they going to say then? Who are they going to blame then? What are they going to, when they don't have him and American people start waking up and seeing that we've been gaslighted by the Democratic Party? Because they're not for Americans.
We're going to find a way still to blame Trump.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. They're going to get a lot of darn pushback.
Donald Trump and congressional Republicans have failed in this task, and they're not equipped to do it because they're focused on enacting massive tax cuts for their billionaire donors.
They
like
are the
Elon Musk,
billionaires.
and they want everyday
Name another billionaire
Americans
donor
to pay
he
for
had
it.
other than Elon Musk. Please name.
We are going to continue to stand up to protect Social Security and Medicare. These aren't entitlement programs. They are earned benefits. The American people have paid into those benefits. Work hard for those benefits.
And y'all give them away.
Earn those benefits. They are earned benefits. And let me be clear with our Republican colleagues and Donald Trump, Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme. Project 2025 is a Ponzi scheme.
Here we go. Project 2025 has no affiliation. That's a heritage foundation.
We're going to stand up in defense of the health care of the American people. It is outrageous that Donald Trump and congressional Republicans are trying to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. They will hurt families, hurt children, hurt seniors, hurt women, hurt veterans, and hurt disabled Americans. Hospitals will close, nursing homes will shut down, and people will die.
Same crap that
This
they
budget
did
that
nothing
Republicans
for
are trying
us.
to jam down the throats of the American people at the direction of Donald Trump is unconscionable, unacceptable, and un-American. And Senate Democrats and House
Why
Democrats are
don't
going
y'all
to do
get to
everything
work
possible
instead
to
of
stop
standing
this
on them
reckless
steps?
budget
Get
in
to
its
work
tracks
for
and
us.
bury it in the ground, never to rise again. Lastly, we have a message for our Republican colleagues. The House and the Senate are separate and co-equal branches of government. We don't work for Donald Trump. We don't work for Elon Musk. We don't work for far-right extremists. We work for the American people. And it's time for you to start acting like it or step out of the way so we can build the type of America that allows every single person
You haven't done
in
nothing
this
but
great
destroy
country
this country.
to thrive. It's
Look
now my
at
great
them.
honor to yield to the great Reverend Dr. Senator Raphael Warnock from the great state of Georgia.
I mean, I really was so happy when he won. He's a pastor of Dr. Martin Luther King former church.
It didn't take us long to see what
But this is now I
Trump
know who he
administration
is.
is all
Fake
about.
pastor.
Now I see, yeah, fake
This
pastor.
is the worst first 100
Of
days
course you say that.
that this country has seen in a very, very long time. We are witnessing an all-out assault on our Constitution,
Look at
an
who
all-out
is?
assault on our norms,
Who
and our
is?
values, an assault on the pocketbooks of ordinary people. But
This
in a
is
real
crazy.
sense, an assault on the spirit of the American people. They are trying to convince us that our neighbors are our enemies. We should know better than that by now, and we do. We went through a deadly pandemic in which if my neighbor was sick, while she was sick, I was potentially imperiled because it was an airborne disease. That didn't make my neighbor my enemy. That means I have an invested interest in my neighbor's health care and my neighbor's ability to be covered. And so while there are politicians who want us to be wary of our neighbors, we ought to be wary of politicians who want us to be afraid of each other. They're trampling due process, striking fear in communities all across our country. They're firing the federal workers who serve our veterans. Many of them are veterans themselves. They have had the honor necessary to fight for us. And then they come back and they've got to fight with us to get ordinary respect for the work that they've already done and the work that they're trying to do. They're trying to shut down Social Security offices in Georgia and all across the country, drinking water safety offices. And why are they doing all of this? They're doing all of this in order to pay for a tax cut for billionaires, all the while adding billions of dollars, trillions of dollars over time to our national debt. But here's the thing that they're really trying to do. They are trying to weaponize despair. They're trying to so beat us down that we will be too soul weary to fight, and it's our job to prove them wrong. This country does not belong to the people in power. The power is in the people. And so I want the American people to be clear that we are fighting. In many ways, you will see our fight. Sometimes you will not see what the fights that we're engaged in.
Yeah,
but
we don't.
we're fighting for
You're not
people.
fighting for us.
Because we believe that if you center the people rather than the politics, you have a chance at getting the public policy right.
That's right.
And so we invite our Republican colleagues to join us. The doors of the church are open.
Not your
The
church.
time is always right to do
Not
what's
your
right. It's never
church.
too
God
late
is
to
not
be on
in
the right side
abortion.
of history.
God is not in abortion,
So
not
we-
your church.
We want you to rise up to this moral moment.
God is not in
And to
same-sex
recognize
marriages,
that we will not
Pastor.
give in to wannabe autocrats who want to convince us that they have already won. If they can convince you that they've already won, then you won't fight. You won't raise your voice. The great Andy Young, who's now in his 90s and is a great source of wisdom for me, tells a story of how after they had passed the civil rights bill into law, Dr. King and his team went to visit with President Lyndon Baines Johnson. And Dr. King said to President Johnson, I need a voting rights law. My people are being disenfranchised. And we've got to pass a voting rights law. And the president said, Martin, I agree with you. But the sad political reality is I don't have the power to do that right now. I just passed the civil rights law. I've used all of my political capital to muster that through the Congress. There's no way I can get a voting rights law passed. I
They're
don't
going to keep everybody back
have
in the 60s.
the
Lord.
power.
That's what
to
they
do that.
do.
And they left the meeting and the team was feeling all dejected, and somebody said to Dr. King, what are we going to do now? He said, well, the president says he doesn't have any power. I guess we're going to have to go and get the president some power. And so I've been thinking about that story a lot
Yeah, we need
lately,
to give the
because everywhere
president
I
some
go, I
power.
know my
Y'all trying to
colleagues have
take
the
it
same
away.
experience. People are asking us, what are we going to do? Will you fight for us? And the answer is yes, we are fighting for you. But Selma was about creating the context for the change that you want to see in the world. And so know that as we fight on the inside, we need you to fight on the outside. And we will prove once again that this is the United States of America, and at the end of the day, it's the people who have the last word. Love has the last word. Justice has the last word. Righteousness has the last word. And we will continue to fight.
Yeah, preach.
Thank you so much. What an honor and privilege to be here with Leader Jeffries, Leader Schumer. Thank you for bringing us together, and with my incredible Democratic colleagues in the House and the Senate. Fighters, each one of them. 100 days ago, Donald Trump came to this Capitol. He swore an oath, spoke to the American people, and promised to bring down prices. And then he started a trade war with our allies, and prices went up. He said we'd be a rich nation again. Then he collapsed the market, and trillions of dollars in savings have been lost. He promised a glorious destiny for Americans. Then he executed an agenda of, by, and for the billionaire class. And now supermarkets are warning they may not be able to stock their shelves. Republican politicians promised the American people they would have more money in your pocket, more opportunity for your family, more confidence in your future. But all we have seen is them take away health care, take away Social Security, take away veterans' benefits, take food away from children and seniors. That's not what anyone voted for. We look at the polls, but also go out and ask people for yourself. You'll hear the same thing that we're hearing. Ask my constituent whose husband is in final stages of dementia, whose financial survival depends on Medicaid. Ask the mom in my district whose son was born with spinal muscular atrophy, a proud college graduate who relies on Medicaid not just to stay alive, but to live a full life. Ask the veterans that I've met in town halls and roundtables and in Dunkin' Donuts across my district. They can't get an appointment at the VA right now, and they are scared and think we have forgotten them. Ask the seniors who cannot get someone to pick up the phone at Social Security. In red, blue, and purple districts, Americans are saying this is not about politics. This is not.
No, who forgot about the soldiers is Joe Biden with the soldiers in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
That's who forgot about the soldiers is Joe Biden, the one who was also checking his watch, like when is the time to leave their memorial. That's who forgot about the soldiers. This lady is disrespecting all of the things that President Trump has done for the soldiers and ignoring everything Joe Biden didn't do for the soldiers and the disrespect he gave the people that served and fought for this country. Now, I take offense to this because my brother and a lot of my family members are soldiers. So I take offense to this, to what she's saying, what these people have been saying.
They act like they care about the vets, but you know what? You didn't make them a priority. Yeah. The vets are still out on the street. If they're such a priority, why aren't you coming with a report card to the American people, what you have done for American people in the last 100 days? Yeah. I want to see your report card. Just like you're trying to run off falsehoods about Trump, then I want to see their report cards. Because if she want to talk about the veterans, why are they still on the street? How come they're being stepped over by illegal immigrants that they were never provided luxury apartments? They weren't provided laptops and all of the amenities that have been given to people that haven't even paid into Social Security. Things are being done for them that's not being done for the American people, especially our vets. Where were they when they were burning American flags all over the United States? They didn't say anything about it. They're not doing anything. They gaslight. Do you know that vets, I did a show a while ago that I had with vets. You have to go through my playlist. And some of them are living in such horrific conditions that they fought. They got PTD, PSTD. They got all kinds of different things that had happened to them mentally, emotionally, physically, fighting for our country. They had one place they were living in. They couldn't even get meals in there. And we're giving them thousands of dollars a month. And they're not even taking care of our vets. And then the others are not. They're living on the street. And they need help. We got homeless Americans on the street. What are they doing about that? But you're trying to like Trump is against. I believe when Trump was in office the last time, he revamped and they were able to get care that they were not able to get with the previous Democratic presidents. And you know the Democrats have been in power for 12 of the last 16 years. So Trump didn't have a bad 4 years. He didn't there were no wars. There were no open borders. Interest rates were great. You know, gas and stuff, what was it, $2.99 a gallon? Or it might have been less. So it wasn't Trump. They've been in power. And he's been in office 100 days, and they want to put all this in his lap. But you know what? When you allow a $36 trillion debt to occur, and none of the presidents want to take it on, somebody has to do something. And it's going to be painful at times because we have to deal with the debt. We can't keep giving money around the world. And you know what? Where were they when North Carolina needed money? And the American citizens were sleeping in tents out in the cold. No FEMA money. Our taxpayer money that was for American citizens. Oh, no money for you, like they would say. And the immigrants say, no money for you. No money for you. One had to never tell a black person, oh, no money for you. Okay? The wildfires. 700, what they tell them, well, we'll give them $750. You know how much it costs to live in California? They went homeless, no schools, no banks, no supermarkets, no nothing. They lost everything. And they tell me, oh, we're going to give you $90, $750 that they didn't get Because guess what? The app don't work. I mean, the money wasn't there. And they said people would call and they were just being denied. So no money for Americans when we have a disastrous and then they need aid. So FEMA is not working. Our school system isn't working. We're paying more money per child to go to school than anywhere else in the world, and our kids are the dumbest. They're not learning, and that's the fact. I can't even say it. I'm trying to say that's the truth. Just had to put it out there. I couldn't even sugarcoat it. And they want to fight against that. That means it needs to be revamped. Our children are so low in math scores, reading scores. I mean, these are some of the best schools in the country, public or, schools, elementary, high school and all that, and they're failing. So we need to do something. We're putting the money there, but then you crowd the schools with kids that can't even speak English. Teachers aren't equipped for that. They don't get an extra budget for that.
Was fake until I
so things need to be done to improve the quality for American citizens. So when they talk all that gaslight, I'm over it. I am so over all this gaslighting, like they doing something for us. Black people, we couldn't even get an anti-hate crime bill passed that they promised. That's why I pushed so hard for Biden to get in office. And guess what? He did nothing. All those empty promises every 4 years, they can forget it. We're not here for it. We're not, just more and more black people are going to start getting off their plantation, start thinking for themselves, and start looking at policies and start valuing our votes because they matter.
In fact, the politicians are supposed to work for the American people.
Yeah,
not
do your
the other
job.
way around.
Do your job.
And we see the Republicans in
Thank
Congress
you. I'm
choosing
sorry, I'm
their
too passionate.
careers, their political survival over that of their constituents. Listening to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and their donors instead of their own voters. Their voters are speaking clearly. They oppose tax cuts for the rich. They oppose cuts to Social Security. They oppose cuts to veterans' benefits. They want the representatives they elected to lower their cost of living, to make sure they can afford groceries, go to the doctor, and stay in their homes. Whether or not Republicans are listening to their voters, Democrats are. We see them. And we see a system that punishes those who work the hardest to benefit those who have the most. And we're here to offer a different path. We're here to fight for the America that Americans want, with more opportunity, more wealth, and more power for working families. That is the fight that we're in. That is our commitment to Americans. And I am so proud
Look at this.
to be here
Roll all
today
that
and yield
sound
to my
good,
good
Ryan.
friend, the Senator from Delaware, Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester. Thank you, colleagues. All right. Leader Schumer, Leader Jeffries, thank you for gathering us all here today on this beautiful afternoon. As a former member of the House of Representatives, House member, and as a new member of the United States Senate, I have to say to everybody, I don't know about you, but when I look back and see this crowd, this is a beautiful sight to behold. Yes. Democrats coming together across the Capitol. So I start off by saying, it's good to see you. It's good to be with you. It's good to be in the fight together. All of us represent millions of Americans across this country, from every single corner of this country. We have constituents who may have different voices, maybe look different, may have different beliefs, and face different challenges every day. But there are two things that we are united on. One is that we love this country. Get that straight. We love this country. And for so many of our constituents, and for us, we feel a sense of urgency in this moment. 100 days.
Some of you may recall, if you know me, that in 2016 I was elected, having never run for anything in my life. And I came to the House of Representatives in the minority. Right, Speaker Pelosi? I was in the minority. I came with Donald Trump. And so for me, this is not new. We made sure that every attempt to repeal, replace, tear up the Affordable Care Act, we did not let that happen because the people did not let that happen.
Right.
And today, I am here as a United States Senator in the minority, temporarily. I'm gonna say that again, temporarily.
Temporarily.
And also with Donald Trump. And I have a message to my Republican colleagues. When I first came in, the word was unprecedented, but now the words are uncertain, chaotic, confused, and corrupt.
Yeah.
Those are the words. And so to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I say on this 101st day, there is an adage, the truth shall set you free.
Yes, it will.
The truth shall set you free. 100 days into this presidency,
Set you free. She said, shut
we've gone from 3 years of solid growth in our economy to the steepest decline that we've seen since the pandemic. That's the truth. Groceries are up, retirement savings are down. That's the truth. Outbreaks of measles and the avian flu, that's the truth. It costs more to build, buy, or to rent a home. It's the truth.
Listen
American
to this. Oh,
citizens,
listen to this.
including 2-year-olds and kids with cancer, are being deported without due process.
Oh, we got to hear her truth. Like, all this stuff, right? It didn't just happen. None of this just happened. And that's the truth. It didn't just happen the last 100 days. That's the truth.
That's the truth. There are wars around the world. There's chaos at the Pentagon, and our allies are losing trust in us. Anybody remember Signalgate 1 and the sequel Signalgate 2? And don't forget the Department of Inefficiency, breaking our government while they're stealing your data. It's been a long 100 days,
Look at
but
them
make no
stealing your
mistake,
data when they're stealing
Democrats
our
are
money.
going to continue to fight. And each of us must do our part in this moment. We will sit in, right, Corey? Yeah. To protect Medicaid and the millions of Americans who rely on it. We will stand up for justice and the rule
America
of law
First
and due
rally,
process.
American
We
First
will march
celebration.
for our rights. And across the Capitol and across the country, we will lock arms against hate, corruption, and darkness. We do this because this is our country. We do this because this is our democracy. And we do this because we recognize that we are all in this together. We are all in this together. And so I close with the song, but I'm not singing. I close with the song that I think represents what you see behind you. The song that is sung and danced to at every Black family reunion. We are family, and we got your back, American families.
This is such
And it is my honor
bunch of
to now
malarkey.
introduce the Minority Whip from the United States House of Representatives, Pete Aguilar, my friend.
Thank you so much, Senator. Leader Schumer, Leader Jeffries, Speaker Emerita Pelosi, and colleagues. For 100 days, Republicans have shown us who they are fighting for and what they care about. It's not the working families who asked for a little bit of help, a little bit of breathing room. It's not our veterans, our farmers, our teachers, or our seniors. The only thing Republicans can rally around, the only thing that brings them together, is massive tax cuts for their billionaire friends. They're trying to pass a budget
They're the
to cut
billionaires.
Medicaid, to cut health care, to make health care more unaffordable and less accessible. They're dismantling the Social Security Administration and putting the earned benefits that seniors rely on in jeopardy. And Trump's reckless tariffs are driving our country towards a recession, which will put hardworking
Y'all
Americans
drove this
out of work
country
through no
towards a
fault of their own.
recession for the
In just
last
100 days,
few
Donald
years.
Trump and the Republican majority have broken their promise to lower costs and instead chosen to crash the economy. Their budget bill will only make things worse. Democrats are going to keep the focus on the American people, and the American people are asking for a little bit of breathing room so
No,
they
they're
can get
not.
by.
No,
They
we're
want to
not.
spend a
Not
little less
speaking
of
for
their
us.
hard-earned paychecks
They
at the
act like
grocery store,
the only
their
Americans
daycare,
are
or
Democrats.
toward rent.
You're not
We're
speaking
going
for
to
the
focus
American people.
on making
You're
life
speaking for
more
your
affordable,
party.
making life easier for everyday Americans in these next 100 days, and at every turn until we flip the House and we flip the Senate.
Not on my
And
watch.
we put a check on the Trump administration's reckless economic policies. Thank you.
These people are so freaking reckless. They didn't like if you're gonna hold any kind of news conference and you want to, yeah, they're so treacherous. They are freaking dangerous. They didn't say one thing about what they're going to do to undo what they have done to this country. The people on the steps and all those leaders, you saw Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Reverend Warnock, all of them. They are responsible, but none of them are giving answers to solutions to what they have done to this country. Their whole they still campaigning like somebody's still running for president. Like the same talking points. That's all they do. They have the same talking points, but they're not addressing their part of how they're going to make it better. What are they going to do to undo what they have done? If we go into a recession, they already had us in a recession. They already had us heading towards all of this. They had someone in office they knew that wasn't stable. They knew he wasn't stable. We just had now Zelensky, what he signed a mineral bill. Okay, we're going to look at, like, they have one side and they one-sided, and they're not fighting for the American people because it's not red or blue. It's one nation under God. And they keep forgetting that. And they keep forgetting that the majority of us voted they behinds out of office. Yeah.
You don't see their game plan?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, yeah, absolutely.
Their game plan is this, well, how I view it, is to make Trump look like the villain again so they can get back in office. Because they know if they can't make Trump look like the villain, they're not going to win for a long time.
They have no policy. They have no solution. They have no leader. So their focus is, as long as they can villainize, how you say it? Trump. Then keep your focus on him so they can deflect you from focusing on them. You know, that's an old game. Yeah. People try to keep the focus on this on someone so that you're not looking at the real culprit. Yeah. So as long as they can keep you focused on Trump, like everything he's doing is against you, that they are gaslighting us. They are the wolves in sheep clothing. It's them. And as long as we don't wake up, then that's what they're doing. And guess what? They don't have to promise you one thing. They not promise you that they're going to make your life easier. They're not promising. They wouldn't even close the borders. Because we couldn't take any more people in this country. And they didn't care who came in. They don't care that they empty out prisons. They don't care the cartel came in. They don't care terrorists came in. They don't care murderers or rapists. They don't care about where's the missing 350,000 children. Who talks about it? They don't care about what had happened to people trying to cross the border, all the lies. They don't care about fentanyl coming into this country. Why don't they talk about at least trying to stop the fentanyl? They don't talk about anything. What have they done? No, they're not talking about the interest rates that they caused. The prices for food was high before Trump came in. The inflation was what it was before he came in, and the interest rates. Trump had to put some fire underneath some of these countries because they're not being fair to us. And I want someone that's going to fight for me. I don't want them. They fighting against me. They're fighting against my best interests. They're not even coming here to tell us, what are you going to do for us? What have you? Have they brought money into the country? Why don't they make deals with other countries? How come they not bringing 500 billion from Apple? How come they not bringing 500 billion? What's that company called? Nivea, Elijah? Yeah. How come they don't have 22 billion coming in from Honda? How come they not having deals and money coming in to the American people? But they could get 350 billion to Ukraine. They could give $22 million for Sesame Street to a country. They could give studies on supposed to be transgender mice or rats. They could put people on our Social Security that are legal immigrants. They could give them Social Security numbers. They could do all these different things except for do something for American citizens. But talk about doing something for us. That's what I want to hear.
Being spent at any time in the history of our country. We're up to close to $8 trillion, I think I can say.
At the heart of the Trump administration's policies is one overarching goal. It is to stage the great American manufacturing comeback.
President Trump pushing ahead with his America First agenda.
Breaking news, Apple announced it's going to work with Foxconn to build a server factory in Texas by 2026.
The company says it is now planning to invest $500 billion
in
the U.S. economy.
The CEO of SoftBank pledging to invest $100 billion.
Oh, it was $100 billion
over the next 4 years.
This is President Trump delivering on the promise he made to the American people on the
They're not telling you that.
Come to America, build greatness in America, build for American customers.
Project Stargate.
It's a joint venture between SoftBank, Oracle, and OpenAI. They're going to create a data center that will eventually be expanded to other states.
Those people are listening to Mr. Trump's pitch to bring new industry to America. This is the latest pledge from a foreign business leader promising to spend big in the U.S. as a result of Trump's election victory.
Founder of the property development company DeMac Properties is pledging the money.
President Trump announcing $100 billion investment from Taiwan Semiconductor, bringing the company's total American investment.
This is what they should be doing.
The most powerful AI chips in the world will be made right here in America.
Things happen so quickly in the Trump world, right? It's 100 days. It feels like it's 100 months. This is leadership. This is taking control of the problem for military, for everything, for industrial, for our economy. Even if it causes short-term pain, the reality is it is the right decision.
All of the computer chip companies are coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
NVIDIA says it will invest hundreds of billions of dollars over the next 4 years, part of the manufacturing renaissance under President Donald J. Trump.
Furniture maker Prepack are shifting their operations from Canada to North Carolina.
Johnson & Johnson says it will invest more than $55 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
You can fact check all of this.
Coming in, I could name 8 right now already auto plants that are either starting or about ready to start construction.
Hyundai announced a $20 billion investment. With your leadership, Mr. President, Hyundai Motor Group is proud to be a stronger partner in America's industrial future.
This is the automobile industry, and now those plants largely have stopped and they're moving up through our country. Honda is building one of the biggest plants.
Honda is producing its next generation Civic Hybrid in Indiana instead of Mexico.
Trump believes that the key to transforming America along the lines he wants, economically, socially, and politically, is to revive the factories and foundries across this country.
We're going to train people in trade craft, bring back trade craft to America so that people can work in these factories, great paying jobs. We're going to train them, and we're going to remake the American dream.
Don't want to hear this, right? Fact check all of it.
To make these bigger investments. It's another example of the Trump effect.
GE Aerospace announcing a nearly $1 billion investment into American manufacturing.
Eli Lilly announcing plans to expand its manufacturing here in the United States. $27 billion additional spend, bringing our total to more than $50 billion.
The money's rolling in, and this is in the past 60-some-odd days, Charles.
These are deep-pocketed folks who want to have a relationship, and it's just smart moves.
We are seeing ACGM, one of the leaders in shipping and logistics around the world. Today, we are investing $20 billion.
Foreign leaders from around the world, investors from Silicon Valley to Wall Street to Main Street, have confidence again in our economy, in our markets, and in President Trump.
The Trump effect this morning, a string of massive wins for American manufacturing. The numbers speak for themselves. Wisconsin-based Clarios is putting up $6 billion to expand its American operation. And what's driving these decisions? Well, President Trump's aggressive Made in America policies and his commitment to bringing industry back to American soil. This is exactly what Trump promised. America First is back.
That was America First. And that's what they should be doing. Now, you're going to have a news conference, have that type of conference. I want to see stuff like that. That's what I want to see. That's what they should be showing us. But they're not. That's what they should be, how they should be communicating. They're not. He's working. That's the last 100 days. He's working. He's working. He just signed a deal, finally signed the deal with Ukraine. But before we even go to that, we need to take a look at, where was he at? Oh, yeah. I want them to address us like that. Come with some substance. Show us something, that you're doing something. But nobody had a problem with this leader, and this party is still being run by these fake Democrats. But they didn't mind this person that wasn't a leader. They're going to talk about, look at Trump or his cognitive or whatever. And we had, I mean, they just full of it. Let me see.
Huge win here. Ukraine has signed the rare earth minerals agreement. A California judge is now blocking Border Patrol from arresting illegal aliens. And Democrats want to invoke the 25th Amendment against the president.
The U.S.
That's all they do. Everything. But nobody had a problem with this guy, which is unbelievable.
Competency of the sitting president today. I think the accuracy and truth of those words do matter.
Well, I don't think he's competent, Will. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we didn't have a problem with that guy. This guy right here, nobody had a problem with him. It's just unimaginable. This guy, nobody was like,
cognitive abilities are sufficient to get past the 25th Amendment. You know, we don't know that right now.
That was the president.
I think what is clear is
look at this.
He has driven our country into a disastrous economy. He has undermining the fundamental rule of law.
I mean, they say these lies like with a straight face, but my favorite one, where is the one with this guy? I mean, they don't have any problems. Nobody had a problem with that. Nobody had a problem with him being missing in action, not showing up, not being present, no transparency. You know, if he spoke, they would have a teleprompter, a script, and they would only select certain reporters. And they certainly wouldn't take questions from everyone. They didn't take questions from everyone.
Trying to inflame the public, and most certainly for trying to arrive at the truth.
Right here.
And after 4 years of having us gaslighted over the
competency,
the mental acuity of the previous president, it's absurd to question,
really is.
Even if you disagree, Congressman, and clearly you do with much of the president.
Look at this.
The competency of the sitting president today. I think the accuracy and truth of those.
Look at that. That was the president. They had
words
him.
Do matter.
He was the president.
Well, I don't think he's competent, Will. I don't know what to tell you. Whether
it's like, it's unbelievable. That's who was supposedly running the country. This is night and day. And I don't know how long that people that continue to vote, like I have been voting for Democrats, like most black people, going to continue being gaslighted by this party. Now today, Trump, this Zelensky, he a little scammer. He finally signed the mineral deal that they've been trying to get him to sign to put some American citizens there.
We came in on January, just the quarterly numbers.
President Trump brushing off today's GDP report showing the U.S. economy shrinking for the first time since 2022, in large part because imports surged at a 41% pace ahead of Trump's tariffs taking effect. Government spending also dropped.
It says how bad the situation we inherited. And you could even say the next quarter is sort of planned because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis.
Economists say the report.
Yeah. So he finally like signed the deal.
Tonight, the Trump administration has just announced it has signed its elusive mineral deal with Ukraine. That announcement comes on the heels of news the U.S. economy shrank in the first quarter of 2025 for the first time in 3 years. Gross domestic product declined 0.3 of a percentage point. President Trump and his team are downplaying the significance of the number. Senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich starts us off tonight live from the North Lawn. Good evening, Jackie.
Good evening, Brett. The U.S. and Ukraine finally inking that long-awaited so-called minerals deal, establishing an economic partnership in recognition of U.S. support to Ukraine. The Treasury Department announcing that this is a signal to Russia that the U.S. is committed to a peace that's centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine. Also saying no state or person who funded the Russian war machine, or supplied it rather, will be allowed to benefit from Ukraine's reconstruction. This news is a bright spot after a cloudy GDP report today that the president blamed on his predecessor.
That's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January, this is the quarterly numbers.
President Trump brushing off today's GDP report showing the U.S. economy shrinking for the first time since 2022, in large part because imports surged at a 41% pace ahead of Trump's tariffs taking effect. Government spending also dropped.
It says how bad a situation we inherited. And you could even say the next quarter is sort of planned because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis.
Economists say the report exaggerates the troubles of the economy, but the Port of Los Angeles is bracing for a 35% drop in cargo arrivals as soon as next week, which would have an immediate impact on dock workers, truckers, and warehouse workers, and soon after, consumers.
Retailers are telling me that they've got 5 to 7 weeks left of traditional inventory. We'll likely see fewer choices on shelves and online shopping networks.
Trump insists China has it worse.
I was actually saddened to hear it, but they're getting absolutely hammered in China.
The White House not revealing yet which cabinet officials were allegedly being tracked for disinformation by the Biden administration.
There's at least one person at this table today who had a dossier in that building. Well, we are going to turn over these dossiers to the individuals, and they'll decide whether they want to disclose it or not.
Also not revealing whether the U.S. made a formal request to El Salvador's government.
That's our biggest problem, right?
Well, I would never tell you that.
It's just amazing. That's America's biggest problem. That's our biggest problem. That's with the Democrats. That's the deflection. Out of millions of people here, that's a deflection. You know, and that's like he went over his 100 days today. Like if you go, I did a previous video earlier today, and you could look at his 100 days. So we're not going to go over, but this is like a clip.
Thank you. Your directive to me was very simple: make America safe. And despite that, we've still been defending over 200 civil lawsuits filed against you.
Listen to that.
On top of everything else, I think I'm representing every one of you in this room. I know you will not be arrested by the U.S. Marshals. Over 200 lawsuits, over 50 injunctions. And now we've got multiple cases in front of the Supreme Court, and we will succeed, and we are doing great in front of the Supreme Court, President, and we'll continue on with that. I was at DEA yesterday, and they said to me, you, Donald Trump, have taken the handcuffs off of DEA agents. And as a result of, since you have been in office, President Trump, your DOJ agencies have seized more than 22 million fentanyl pills, 3,400 kilos of fentanyl since you've been here last 100 days, which saved, be ready for this, media, 258 million lives. Kids are dying every day because they're taking this junk laced with something else. They don't know what they're taking. They think they're buying a Tylenol or an Adderall and a Xanax, and it's laced with fentanyl, and they're dropping dead, and no longer because of you, what you've done. ATF, since you've been in office, President, along with DOJ agencies, seized 14,500 guns off the streets. Why aren't people reporting that? 651,000 rounds of ammo. That's up 151% from 2024. That's keeping America safe. We've rescinded death penalty. We are now seeking the death penalty on cases. I'm signing death warrants. We are going after terrorism. We are going after arsonists. Whether you're burning Teslas, we've arrested 9 people so far in 7 jurisdictions, no negotiations, 20 years in prison, or you're burning down the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. We will be there to protect you. And I've been talking to Governor Shapiro, and he greatly appreciated you reaching out as well. ISIS terrorist, we got one in New York, right around the corner. We got an ISIS terrorist in New York. We have an October 7th task force. We just broke up a huge human trafficking ring by the Sinaloa cartel. 1,000 pounds of methamphetamine on our streets. Ton of fentanyl, 20,000 Molly pills. Those are the drug of choice among at clubs and bars for young kids. They were fake, but you know what they had in them? Fentanyl. That's 20,000 lives saved because of you, right there. We brought back 29 cartel members from Mexico in your direction, and one killed the Kiki Camareno, a DEA agent, in 1985, and many of us got to talk to his widow and his son, who is now a judge. And they started crying. They have tried to get that guy back forever. And thanks to so many of you in this room working together, they have justice. They were crying on the phone because of what you did, President Trump. Thank you. We're going after anti-Semitism. We're unleashing everything you told us. No more DEI, no more weaponization. We have rescinded, as I said, 200 policies. And I could go on all day long, but we are doing everything in our power to keep America safe at your direction.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily
That's
Campagno.
amazing.
Catch me.
See, to me, those are results. Each of his cabinet members, when they went around the room, because they look like the Justice League to me, he has assembled some of the brightest and the most productive people that have ever sat on probably a cabinet, held a cabinet position. And it's amazing that what are the Democrats doing? At least they can say something. What are the Democrats? What are they doing for us? They're supposed to be able to tell us and give a press conference like they did instead of on the steps just talking against everything that Trump is trying to do. Did you hear all the injunctions and all the court proceedings that they wanted, charge against Trump? I mean, how can a president govern this country with all of that? I mean, they're trying to block everything that he's trying to do, good or bad. Can he do anything? Anything to make them happy? Can he do anything?
Ask him, what can Trump do?
What can Trump do? What can he do? Because as far as I can see it, the Democrats haven't done a darn thing. They're not doing anything. But that seems to work in this administration.
Yep, Trump. Someone said that never mind.
I want to know, what can he do?
Let me read that.
What?
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't be able to do anything to make them happy.
No, it's nothing. It's nothing. And see, you can't jump high enough for certain people. They like the gaslighting. They like people saying they're going to do. That's like somebody promising you, I'm going to be there tomorrow for you. I promise I'll be there. I'll pick you up on time. You won't be late for work. Yeah, I'll be there. And then they don't show up. That's what they do.
They like the boy who cried wolf.
They like someone to keep promises and do nothing. And do nothing for you. And they're not hold the Democrats accountable. Hold them accountable. This is what this is all about. I want both sides working for us. It should be one side doing all the heavy lifting. That's the Republicans. Trump is doing the heavy lifting. I want both sides carrying the weight of this country. I want them doing their part as well. That's what I want.
Well, the United States is a beautiful country.
But they're destroying it.
Yeah, I get your point, though, Christopher.
He said, I'm grateful every day I don't live in the U.S.
He's grateful every day he doesn't live in the U.S.? Well, where do you live?
I mean, David said that.
He's grateful every day he don't live in the U.S. But you know what? We wouldn't want to live in any other country but the one that we're in. And I guess you should feel like that about your home country. And that's why Trump is trying to send people back to their home country.
I do, to a point, I think people...
They had voters on if Trump fulfilled campaign promises. So these are some constituents. We're just going to react because everybody has, like, you know, their opinions.
On this 100th day of President Trump's second term, it is time now to hear from the voters' voices. And at the ready, our panel of voters who span the political spectrum, they are here to share their thoughts on the administration so far. So from day one, President Trump took swift action to follow through on his campaign promises. We know that, immediately signing, and very publicly too, over 140 executive orders along the way, covering everything from illegal immigration to education to the economy, cultural issues as well. And he overturned more than 100 orders enacted by former President Biden. If you'll remember, Biden had flipped Trump. So in actuality, Trump was like reversing 76 in his own first hours of the inauguration after that. That might have been some of his own that Biden had toyed with. The president has also signed 5 bills into law now, and they include the Laken-Riley Act, named after the Georgia nursing student murdered by an illegal immigrant last year. And he's also facing an unprecedented number of liberal lawfare lawsuits against his agenda. 17 nationwide injunctions and more than 200 lawsuits in just 100 days.
Unbelievable.
The White House, however, is highlighting the progress.
Today officially marks 100 days of promises made and promises kept by President Trump. This has truly been the most historic start to a presidency in American history.
Now, President Trump and this administration here, their success is unprecedented. We beat Trump's first administration on border success. Border numbers are historical.
Since January 20th, interest rates, mortgage rates are down, gasoline and energy prices are down. We are doing peace deals, trade deals, tax deals, and deregulating.
So, what do the voters really think? I want to hear from our voters' voices now. Joining us today, Maria. We'll start the back row right now to the left. Maria, Bonnie, you can wave if you want. David, Vanessa, all Republican voters there. Andrew and Jay, both Democrats, and Mary Josephine and Dominic are here as independent representatives of their perspective. Great to see you all. So, Maria, I'm going to start with you just on what your expectations were and what the realities are now from what you're saying with this president.
I think Trump has carried out our expectations for the most part. He's done 100 things for us as soon as he stepped foot into the office. He's carried out on a lot of his promises. I think the next 100 days are going to be very critical for us instead.
Oh, really? What do you want? What do you want to see?
I think we want to see better rates, the tariff situation to be settled. I think people just want everything that he's already given us. However, the prison system and the immigration system, I think everything that he's done has excelled beyond. I mean, we don't have anyone coming through the borders anymore. I think that was big for us.
Jay, I'm going to talk with you now as a Democrat about your own expectations, too, for President Trump and what you particularly think you like and what you want to see more work on.
When I think about what I like, I want to be fair and say, yes, the consumer price index is down 1%, or 0.1. However, that masks the fact that food is up 0.4, 0.5, depending on where we're looking at, and housing is up by 0.2. I think his style of governing that creates chaos, it's leading to destabilization within the global affairs, which is going to lead ultimately to issues within homeland security, issues within manufacturing, jobs, all of it.
So when you say destabilization, what exactly do you mean by that?
By that I mean the way that the U.S. has led for generations since World War II, it's not been by just us proudly beating our chest. We had a coalition, and we, that as a team with others, we were just in the forefront. We have essentially gotten rid of all of our partners around the world with the exception of Israel.
That's not true. That's not true. And we know that because we wouldn't be going to summits with this president and able to make tariff deals and all the rest, even with China. They're not considered a partner necessarily. We're not just, we're not having a disillusion about that. But definitely we have more friends than you're giving the president credit for. But that's your perspective. And certainly, we've made better friends with Mexico as they put 10,000 troops on the border to help us out with our border crisis. So that's just an example. David, I want to come to you and just ask about the tone, because I tend to hear what you're saying, Jay. I hear it a lot about the tone and the rapid nature of the president. What is your take on it?
Yeah, as a Black conservative, there is some concern. I respect President Trump's urgency. Americans are tired of bloated government, endless bureaucracy, but like we saw with Elon Musk at Twitter, there's a fine line between disruption and destruction. We need America to work better, but not broke what's necessarily still working.
Now, you started with Black conservative and the role, I mean, I can understand why you'd start there because there were Blacks on every spectrum, in every spectrum of voting, who went with Trump for different reasons.
Right.
But you started there, why?
Well, that's the lens through which I, see this process, I think that we need smart strength, not just the shock and awe. I mean, he put himself in a bold position. Now I think it's just time for him to refine and push harder.
All right. Dominic, what do you think about that very issue?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what he had to say. What I like most about Trump is that he's doing what he said he was going to do, whether you like or dislike his policies. I think in the past, a lot of politicians said what the crowd in front of them wanted to hear and then did what they wanted to do. This president is doing exactly what he said in rapid speed. He's definitely shaking up the market, which is obviously reflecting that. But I think it is strategic, and he has very smart people in his corner making these moves.
Well, and one thing that he's done, and Bonnie, I'll get a quick response from you, speaking of the markets, because they've been healthier in the last day or so, and we've seen that each week. They'll have some potholes, and then they'll come back, and today we're way above 40,000 on the Dow, for example. This is what the president said he would do. He would make course corrections and go. Do you think the American public is getting that perspective?
I do to a point. I think people are a little bit nervous at this point, but I think we have to give him time. We elected him because we wanted a change, we needed a change, and that's why he was elected into office, to make a difference. And I think, 100 days, he's done great things. He's scared a few people, but I think we need to give him a chance to follow through on his plan, because I do think he's got, like Dominic said, great people in his corner and, smart people, and he's a businessman. He's not a politician, and I think we have to give him a chance to go forward with his plan.
All right, let's get your reaction to this. In spite of whatever rough patches we may have seen, President Trump supporters are standing behind him. Take a look at the numbers on your screen. A new Fox poll shows only 4% of those supporters say they wish they had voted differently. That is a very high percentage of people who maybe, Bonnie, are doing what you're saying, and that is let him cook. Let him do what he needs to do. Vanessa, I see you smiling.
Absolutely, let him cook. I mean, I'm more than content with what President Trump and his administration are doing. I think as an HR professional, he's been very thoughtful in hiring the right people, putting them in the right roles.
Very thoughtful.
We're just taking a step back to watch things play out. Let him cook, like you said. I've been a registered Republican since 18, first-generation American, and we want to see the country a little bit more conservative in what we're doing so that we always put America first.
Well, I can't wait then to jump to cultural issues, and I'll double down with you. And Mary Josephine, I'll come to you next as an independent joining us today. Vanessa, what is the key cultural issue that you're watching for right now? Because you say you're conservative, so you want to see certain things happen, not just with the economy, but with how we live in this country.
For me, immigration. Remember, I shared first-generation American. My family's from Haiti. We came in the right way. So absolutely, we want our streets safer. We want the best immigrants coming in to help our country excel and amplify what we're doing. But there needs to be a process. It cannot be a free-for-all. And being right here in New York City, the mecca of the world, We need to make sure
Need to
that's
be a
coming through
process
a
coming
conservative
in.
lens where we protect
But they
our
want
city
a
and
process
thrive.
going out.
Wow, I see a lot of nodding, Mary Josephine.
Well, I mean, it would be nice to look at going to church on Sunday as a normal thing like we used to do years ago. I mean, I feel like we've pulled away from doing things that are probably normal because it's looked down upon. You can go to school and it's really difficult to say if you believe, let's say, something that the Bible says and be forthcoming with it because you're afraid of what the person next to you is going to say. Like we've gone away from just doing things normally. We're putting too much emphasis in trans sports and DEI and the basic family structure isn't something that is applauded any longer.
The
And
Democrats
I like that
are
Trump
against all
is
of
trying
that.
to bring that to the forefront and make people feel comfortable again, just supporting their views, whatever they are.
Yeah, and that faith-based nature is certainly something that I even see Democrats tapping into now, as they did their, I don't even know what you call it, the sing-along on the steps. You heard Faith talked about and that whole, and you really didn't hear it on the campaign trail as much. So, Andrew, what is your take on where we are 100 days in?
I was recently elected to the student government of Fordham University, a Jesuit Catholic university, and
Congratulations, by the way, young man.
Thank you.
Making his political dreams come true.
A little bit, but I'm concerned because at a school like this in an international city like New York, I don't just represent Americans; I represent international students, and 4 of my peers had their visas rescinded, and thank God, all 4 of them have been reinstated. But I'm just shocked, and I've been in active communication with the administration of Fordham, and I've been shocked that there's been no discussion on why those visas were revoked. There's no collaboration between Fordham University or other universities, or many, or not, I wouldn't say all, but many universities on why these visas were revoked. And the fact that there was none of these students were involved in protests. None of these students, they were stripped away from their right to study and put back. So I'm just a little bit concerned on the process, and if it's too much, too much quick action with little recourse.
Well, let me point out that what you're talking about was that there was enough process involved such that those people could get redress, that they could go back and get their cases looked at. And I don't know if it works like a HIPAA situation, but they may never share with you personally. Outside of those individuals, the federal government likely will not open up its books to share with you why they had spoken with those 4 who you know. Protesting is free speech.
Yes.
What the students have been doing in other places, though, like Columbia, that is not protected speech. It is hate speech. Some of it has been violent. So those types of things, I don't think we need to ask the government why you would, single out somebody like a Mahmoud Khalil to take a look at what he's been doing. But with those 4, it sounds like the process worked. But I hear your concerns, and Dominic, I see you nodding. You're one of the independents. I want to know your thoughts on what Andrew has brought up.
Yeah, no, listen, over the last few years under the past administration, immigration was the border was an open border. Under this administration, they're going to be vetting everyone that came across and deporting who shouldn't be here. So I don't think it's outlandish or something surprising that maybe some visas are being taken away. And I'm happy they were given back, right? But I think there needs to be a vetting process, and there has to be a process in general, right?
What's important about what Dominic's bringing up too, and Bonnie, I'll get your thoughts on this. We didn't have that kind of vetting. They were overrun with people coming at the border. And I remember when I was there 2 years ago, there was not a process more than jumping in the water to help people who couldn't quite swim across the Rio Grande. I mean, you're not vetting at that time. You're trying to save lives. And that's what a lot of our border agents were tasked with, was just the day-to-day survivability of the decisions to come into our country illegally on a whole host of different ways. So what is your take on basically getting down to zero at this point and being able to vet and not being surprised maybe that there's some people in the country that they're a little hard to vet?
I mean, I think this is exactly what President Trump said he would do on day 1, is close the borders, and he essentially did that to make our lives safer. We're citizens, we're here. to make it a better place for all of us. And I don't think I don't know. I mean, I think that we're here. We're born here. We've lived here, and other people are coming in, and there's a process. And all of us, we're all immigrants here. You know, all of our families came from somewhere else, but there's a way to do things, and we need to protect the people that are here.
All right, let's get to this. We hear a lot in the legacy media about the president's poor polling. I want to take a look at some of the insight into what could be driving that public opinion. A conservative media watchdog analyzed the network news nightly broadcast from Inauguration Day until April 8th.
Look, these newscasters, this is what they do. 92%.
92% of coverage of the president and his administration.
That's what's wrong with the American
negative.
people.
Look at the screen.
That's crazy.
92% of anything is a lie. Over that same time period in his first term, that number was 89%. So not too different from the first term, very high. Compare that to their coverage of former President Biden's first 100 days, 59% positive. Despite this, a new poll shows that when it comes to handling the nation's main problems, voters say they trust Trump over congressional Democrats by a 7-point margin. Jay, that sounds like a problem.
It is a
That's
What drives
crazy.
an entrepreneur to
It's
create?
amazing, like when you look at like what's going on, that it's like incredible. Like when you say 93% negative, that's what's wrong with everyone. That's because that's what they're feeding us, and they're doing it day after day, year, month after month, year after year, and they keep saying the same things to you until you start believing it. It becomes your truth.
A single person that we can look to in the Democratic Party right now to say that that's our leader. However, with that being said, I think taking the one person who's there over a party is also quite dangerous because of some of the things that he's done. Taking away due process from folks is not okay. He's quick to call out when he feels like his rights are being infringed upon, and yet the Fifth Amendment says that every person, it doesn't specify citizens, it says every person shall have due process.
So we don't guarantee constitutional rights to certain illegal aliens, particularly when they are suspected of violent crimes, which is why we have a finalized deportation list. And it's pretty clear. And I think some of the cases that are public now, individuals were on that. So where are you saying that due process? I mean, to even get to that point, they must have gone through process.
Due process. Okay, so let's look at President Trump as an example. We call him a felon because he has been convicted of felonies. Some of these folks, without the actual due process, do not technically qualify as
They're
illegal
a criminal. They
immigrants because
enter
have
the
never
country
been
illegally. You're a criminal.
Well, wait,
With
how
that
do they
being
get
said,
there is the question.
Illegally.
But, you
It's
know,
not fine.
there's- Just like we say when someone is allegedly being accused of something, it's the same process, right? However they got here,
However
due process is what gives them that status of being
that's illegally.
So without
Listen
that
to
process,
this.
you're essentially just taking up people off of the streets, giving them this without their actual process and deporting them. Now, am I saying some of these people should not have been deported? No.
Do we agree that if you come across our border in an illegal manner that you have
Broke the
committed your first
law.
crime?
I believe you are entitled to due process.
That is
Look
the
at this
difference that I often
crazy.
get between Democrats and Republicans. David, what do you think?
Well, I think we have to speak the facts. A lot of media likes to throw around lies and smoke. The truth is, immigration is Trump's strongest issue. People want a secure border. Now, we can argue about tone, his brassness, and how people feel about when he's carrying out these policies. They may be a little nervous, but the truth is, people want a secure border. And you even seen Democrats, and you just seen Hakeem Jeffries say, let me be clear, Democrats want a strong border. So they even have to change their message to what the American people want.
Well, and what's interesting about that is then, and you pointed it out, Jay, it's such a big issue. You have to be unified enough in your party to pick somebody who represents you to carry the message. You are nodding, Andrew.
Yeah, I think a big failure with the Democratic Party in recent elections is, almost a calling to anoint a person. With 2016 clearing the field for Hillary, a similar thing to a lesser extent for Biden. And now with the most recent election with Kamala Harris, I think a lot of people in my party like strongly believe that there should be a new legion of voices, and I hope that this kind of anointing or choosing doesn't happen next presidential primary. I believe that iron sharpens iron, and that the strongest candidate through debate ultimately comes on top. I mean, the last time that we had a truly open primary was, in my opinion, was in 2008, and look at what happened with Obama. I mean, he was a hate him or love him, he was an extremely strong candidate, and I believe that the only way that we're going to find the next party leader is through a competition and a discussion of the ideas.
Wow. Well, while you are figuring all of that out, President Trump has had 100 days. and he's been moving along the lines of those things that he talked about. I mean, nearly every day he talked about tariffs, so nothing has really been a shocker. Let's take a big picture polling look here, and it doesn't look great for really anybody. A majority of voters say President Trump, Republicans and Democrats are all out of touch with certain concerns of most Americans. Democrats getting the worst of it, though, it's 69%. So, Maria, moving ahead, you mentioned some of the areas that you'd like to see. Specifically, what do you want to see beginning the 101st day?
I think I'm going to go right back into the same focus of immigration as well, because of piggybacking off of what Vanessa spoke about. I'm also a child of an immigrant parent. Both my parents are immigrants, Indian and Pakistani. And a lot of the things that are going on overseas, I understand that being that I am Muslim. So I do understand that. However, my family worked very hard to be here and to live the American dream and to achieve that. And they had to go above and beyond to make sure that they could have that here. So to see others come into this country and do whatever they want, even with education, going to college, getting grants, getting scholarships, some of these things are just being handed out to other people.
At one point we had thousands upon thousands of people coming across our border. There was no vetting process. And the Biden administration actually didn't fake it and say that there was at that point, because we didn't have that many people who could count it and vet them. I mean, they were outnumbered, to coin a term. But Vanessa, when you talk about coming here the right way, I can understand the disconnect between Democrats and Republicans on this issue, but your family has lived it. You both of your families, Maria too. So talk with us about what the next move you would like to see this administration, tackle, because that issue is going to continue to be one. He wins on this issue, but Democrats aren't going to lay down forever.
Absolutely. For me, it's continuing to deliver on truth, transparency, common sense. There's such an appetite in our country for that. I wanted to go back briefly on what you were sharing about legacy media. I mean, I think that's why we're seeing such a surge in Gen Z. They're kind of splitting. You're actually seeing a turn towards more conservatism, because you have independent media and podcasts, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, that are really speaking to the American public. We just want the truth. So that's the one asset I have of President Trump. Promises made, promises kept. Continue to be transparent about that.
That's probably why, for some of you, his boldness, his rapid movement doesn't bother you, because you know what it takes to shake the apples out of the trees and make change. And if you're raising children, I have 2 teenagers, it's never simplistic. Even when parents give us the ideas of what to do next, it's like, well, it didn't work out that way for me with mine. So it takes time, and he's just not taking that time. He's throwing all the crayons at the wall. I want to just get 2 quick last thoughts. Dominic, I'll come to you.
Talking about the next 100 days, I think the tariffs need to be worked out. We saw during COVID, when the ports kind of shut down, what it did to our supply chain and cost of goods. I agree that he should do it. I agree that we shouldn't be just shoveling money into other countries and not be a fair agreement between us and other countries. But it could affect us in a serious way if this isn't resolved very quickly.
Are you watching some of the latest moves, the difference in tone and movement, maybe a little bit on a public scale? With certain countries like China?
Yeah, I think. Listen, what he did had to be done. I just want him to wrap it up as quick as we could, so we don't see too much economic change here in the country.
All right, David.
The thing that I would like to see him work, and I think you just pointed out about the Americans feeling like both parties is out of touch. And let me be clear, Americans have a distrust of institutions overall. So it's not an indictment on anyone. But like the famous strategist said, it's the economy, stupid. So you need to focus on the economy, getting back those 401ks, and making sure people have those manufacturing jobs.
There you go. Jay, it'll make you happy. I think that was a Democrat who said that.
I think most of that is fair. Doing things too quickly works in some places, it doesn't work in others.
All right.
Firing people who are taking care of our nuclear silos, that doesn't work. So I want him to do what's best for Americans, period.
Did you want that from Biden?
I'll leave that up to his team.
Yeah, he has a
You
real
all are
team.
Fantastic.
A
And I
real
wanna
team.
Thank you for coming and making your
Wonderful.
voices heard.
Independents,
Congratulations on
Democrats,
taking
and
office, young
Republicans.
man. All parties considered today on Voters' Voices, so I'm glad and feel blessed to have you here in studio with me. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm
That was
Emily
really
Campagno.
amazing. Just to bring just different people, different ages, different religions, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. I mean, that was really amazing, and just to hear their perspective. But guess what? The Democrats know that they're not going to get back in office because the American people realize that they're gaslighting us, and they have nothing. They haven't accomplished nothing. They don't have a leader. They still aren't coming. At least Trump is bringing money into the country. They're stopping drugs from coming in the country. They're trying to get rid of the criminals out the country. I mean, there's action. You want to see action. We don't need to hear that kumbaya and all that what you're going to do, and you do nothing. Their whole campaign and their whole existence is just all these injunctions against Trump, 212, what is it, lawsuits or whatever. They're trying to stop him from doing his job as the president. And they're stopping him from doing the job of the American people. So what they're doing is fighting against the will of the people. The people, they don't even respect us. They don't respect us. It's not just about one party. Trump is not the president of one party. He's the president of the United States of America. That's the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, the Independents, and whomever else is. He's the president. And they're doing a disservice to us to constantly fighting against an elected president that we put in office and act like, and then they have the audacity to act like they're speaking for us, and they're not. We're not going back to a party that make promises and do nothing. They're doing nothing. They're not bringing money into the country. They're not lowering interest rates. They're not trying to revamp the school system so that our kids can learn. They're not trying to make America healthy. They're not trying to make America safe. They're not doing anything. And we should expect more of our elected officials. But they're not counting on us. They're looking at the people that voted Trump into office. They're just looking to just legalize the immigrants. That's all they're waiting to get back in office, so they can somehow take these homeless people, because it's not about Americans. It's not about us. It's all about the Benjamins, and it's all about the votes. That's it. That's all they care about. The Democratic Party only care about the votes. So anyway, you guys, we're going to jump off. Thank you for coming on. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to join. I just started a membership. You can join. What we're going to do, people to become members, we're going to start bringing them on the live. And the members will have the opportunity to join us on the lives, or, tape with us when we upload. So anyway, don't forget to join us. I don't know if we're coming on tomorrow or not, but you will be notified if you hit the bell. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave it for us, because, the chat, we can't read everything that's in here. So,
Cash Jordan video.
Cash Jordan, I'm tired. I'm going to jump off of here. But that would be great to see Cash Jordan. Migrants arrested after wild 100-mile police chase.
Deanna said this was an excellent session.
Thank you so much. I was on early. I'm just tired at this point. But I'm glad that you guys are joining us. But these are things we need to communicate and talk about.
God bless you. They said bless you and your son.
God bless you. It's important.
Mama D, you sound mad.
And we got to keep the communication going on. But demand that party to show you what they're doing for you as Americans. Demand that. We have a right to that. And we didn't give Biden all this grief, and he deserved it because he's the reason that we're going through this.
Oh, thank you, Drippy. God bless you too, Sammy.
But hit the like. Oh, thank you for telling them that. I think she's been on here before.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, hit the like button. We only got 52 likes. I know, like, when we go off, like, usually it's thousands of people. You guys don't see over, like, even our last video was 78,000 people.
Mama D, we aren't elected officials. She said Democrats this, Democrats that. What have y'all done? We're not elected.
We're talking to you. That's what we have done. We're fighting. We're fighting. We're trying to enlighten you, awaken you.
Women Queen is really lost.
But God bless you guys. I'm jumping off. You can leave your comments. We will respond to them. Y'all can talk to each other in the chat. But I'm great. Just, he has school tomorrow. I got work to do tomorrow. So God bless all of you.
Yeah, God bless you all. See you later. Women Queen keeps saying reparations, which I'm totally for.
Yeah, we for reparations. Still not for blaming Trump for Biden's mess. Democrats report card for the last 100 days. Y'all need to think about it. Let them show you their report card for the last 100 days. I put polls up. You can go to my polls and answer the polls.
Women Queen, before we get off, how's our head in the sand? You keep saying that. And now you're saying an insult against our cooperation with the Black community, which we are Black.
That's because we're not in the plantation.
We're not on the plantation.
And if you don't they said Black people been voting the same way for over 60 years. We don't demand anything and we don't get anything, and they don't do anything for us. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with it.
Do you know all the things that Trump has actually done for the Black community and what Biden has done for the Black community? Or are you just talking out your...
Explain to us what his 1994 crime bill. Explain to us Biden's 1994 crime bill. Start with that. Everybody should know that. Start with the 1994 crime bill that caused mass incarceration of Black men. Start with that. Give us a history lesson on that. What transpired? There's videos if you don't know about what Biden, his own words.
Doesn't even know what that is.
Biden's own words, what he thought of us.
Super predators.
Yeah, look that up. Look that up. And then look up Trump's First Step Act. Look that up.
Yeah, HBCUs.
Yeah, look that up. That's what you can do. And then come back on here. And then educate us.
Veronica, don't you know that's still affecting Black people, mainly Black men to this day, his 1994
They're still in jail.
crime bill?
And judges still over sentencing Black men. And you take the men out the household. That's why kids are not being reared up. The streets have them.
Tony, they're going another lost Black person.
It's okay. Jesus will be back before we get it together. We just stay stuck. We got the same, nothing is happening for us, and we just gonna stay right there.
She said we're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah. And what are you on? How has that worked out for you? I'll wait. How has that worked out for you? Anyway, let's get off of this. I'm so tired. Look at this. These numbers.
No, Christianity will save your life, Betty.
Jesus is Lord and Christ is King. Glory to God. Just thank God.
Woman Queen. She's really upset.
Well, people get upset when they have nothing to stand on. Yeah. When they have nothing there. You should go with some of their talking points.
Oh, now Tony the Black guy said he's 58 and never been lost. You talk about 1994, you're lost. So that these People are crazy.
It's okay.
Now, the 1994 crime bill isn't.
He doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it is. It's okay. It's okay. See, this is to enlighten people. We all need to be educated. I didn't know what it was when I was campaigning for Biden, taking selfies with the president. When I was doing Zoom call with the majority leader at the time, Schumer. You know, I didn't know.
Dark Press, you need to actually study the Son of God, Jesus Christ, because he wasn't a soft, feminine man who was just about love. Jesus Christ was the Son of God.
If people won't educate themselves, and the truth hurts, and when you tell people the truth, they don't want to hear it.
They say Jesus preached love, and we're preaching hate.
We're not preachers. We're not preaching anything, but Jesus preached truth. He told us to be honest, be truthful, not to lie.
Yeah, Woman Queen's really mad.
Not to lie, to speak the truth, to be honest.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking of. Sammy said Jesus was flipping tables at the tax collectors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was. Thank you for saying.
He wasn't passive.
Yeah.
You know, people think Jesus was like the monks you see, like he's in a corner, like, you know, no, that was not God. God stood on business. Jesus was God in the flesh. He stood on business. So this could go on forever. Anything you have to say, you guys, just leave it in the comments, and we will, I promise you, we will respond.
I find this funny. Is there anything you guys want to say as final message to us?
They can leave it in the comments.
Oh,
like
okay.
once the stream, we can't like the stream will go away, but once the stream ends, you can just leave a comment. We will respond to it, and we will answer your comments. You could tell us what have they Can someone leave a comment? Tell us in the comments after the stream what has the Democrats done for the American people? What is their report card for the last 100 days? I mean, I'd like to know, what have they done for us?
Yeah, but people need to do more researching. But we're about to.
Yeah, they got to do the research. Just look it up. You can Google anything and everything. Just look it up. Anyway, you guys, thank you.
All right,
God
guys.
bless you. Thank
God
you for
bless
joining
you.
us. Beloved above all, wish that thou may prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. So God said you pray for those that, you know, say all manner of things against you, persecute you, you know, show them love.
Gary said, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, so we,
Appreciate
you know, we like the different. We don't want people, they don't have to agree with us. We can agree to disagree. Just do it respectfully. That's all we ask. You know, use the dictionary. Don't follow the leaders that's cursing and cussing and jumping up and down. Have a civil conversation.
Dark Press, but you're not holding Joe Biden accountable for the economy.
They don't hold, that's what this is all about. They do not hold them accountable. So anyway, go ahead.
All right, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.
Good night.
God bless you.
Hasta